Hi guys. It's the end of daycare day. Excuse me. And I just wanted to talk a little bit more about the passing of Jeff Beck. You know, it feels very sudden. You know, I think he actually passed on the 10th, right? Um, I found out this morning. I had a message on Facebook from a friend of mine. She says, "Did you hear the sad news?" I thought she was talking about something to do with Outlander because we both watched that. Um, so I was checking YouTube and all for news, and then that's when I saw what happened. Um, and I was, quite literally just like, no, no. And I mean, when someone that admire, passes away, and it's, and as a fan, we're kind of like, as a fan dealing with the grief, we're kind of like, excuse me, I'm going to use this roll of toilet paper as an example. But it's like, we're out here. We're all out here supporting each other. Where this inner core would be, his family, suffering a great, great loss. And, I'm glad that, and they can comfort each other. And that inner core is where Johnny Depp is, of course. And we're out here, so, when we hear about someone like that passing away, we get this feeling of grief, but we also have this feeling of helplessness because we can't do anything for the family other than pray. We can't do anything. I was talking to somebody, and I think I made a post, and I said, I might have said this in a Discord group, but I said that I feel like I just want to hug someone and cry, because because not gonna do it because it does hurt, and I feel almost the same way that I did when my mamaw died, and let me explain why. Because I remember looking over at my dad, and my dad was in tears. He lost his mom. And I remember hurting for him, not that I wasn't sad I lost my mama, but it was a different feeling. You know what I mean? I was making sure this thing is not on mute. I was hurting for my dad, and that's, I think, the way a lot of us in the Johnny Depp community are feeling right now. We are feeling hurt not only for his family, but we're feeling hurt for Johnny Depp because we know he's in pain. And there's nothing we can do. He just went through the toughest fight of his life, and he got through it because of, he attributes his sanity and coming through all that to not just his fans, but he attributes so much of that to Jeff Beck and his wife. He met Jeff Beck in 2016, and he's been there with him through it all. I am so happy that he lived long enough to see that Jeff lived long enough to see Johnny Depp come through all of that successfully, and to see Johnny happy again. Would have been really tragic if he had passed, if this had happened before, like with Johnny's beloved bodyguard, Jerry, he didn't get to see Johnny come through all of that. I have to believe that Johnny has some angels looking out for him now. So we are, I don't go into the Discord group much at all anymore. I mean, I'm down to maybe once a month I'll go in there. But I went in there today. I felt like I needed to be with my people, if that makes any sense. So I went in there and made a, post. Excuse me. So I went in there and made a post, to just express, our common feelings right now. And I've seen some people being I think a little upset. I've seen some people saying that they're upset at the fact that a source claimed that Johnny Depp was devastated. I saw that in the People, on the People website as well. I don't really think, number one, okay, that's not really news. You don't have to have a source tell us that. We know that. We know that. And number two, I believe that Johnny would not and does not want us making this about him. It's disrespectful to Jeff and his memory. It's disrespectful to his wife and his family. Johnny is a good friend of Jeff. Johnny's hurting naturally. But he, I believe, would be the last person to want the Depp community to make it about him. Because it's not. Thank God we still have our beloved Johnny with us. It brings to mind, I'll see if I can remember to put the link to the video somewhere, but it brings to mind a video I made where I talk about a vision that I had about Johnny Depp when the trial was going on. It was so clear. I remember feeling, I was wide awake when I had it. It was like a flash. There was, people just, you couldn't see Johnny Depp. And maybe this is why. But it does not fail. When I have a dream like this, somebody passes away. And I was petrified that it was going to be Johnny. And now I understand why I had that vision. I don't know why it was given to me. That makes no sense to me at all. But it does make sense that I had it. But the vision was, I don't know if I ever actually told y'all what it was, but it was back during the trial. It was just, there was a crowd of people surrounding Johnny, but you couldn't see Johnny, but you knew Johnny was hurt. And I knew it had something to do with his heart. Now at the time I thought, oh my God, I hope he goes to get a checkup. I hope he's taking care of his health. I thought something was going to happen to him. And now I understand why I had that vision. Something happened to someone so close to him that this is affecting his heart. I think we're all a bit worried about Johnny right now, and because Jeff has been his rock, and I know that we're all a bit worried about how he's going to deal with this and how he's going to come through this. You know, given that everything he's just been through, this is, I said he wouldn't want us to make it about him. But it's like in my vision, I could feel the sadness of the entire world. And that's how it felt when I read that news. And immediately, again, we can't make this about Johnny, but immediately my mind went to, oh my God, poor Johnny. You know, how is he going to deal with this now? You know, he's had to fight through so much. I'm sure that he will probably spend a lot of time with Jeff's family, you know, and comforting each other. I'm assuming. I don't know. I'm not one of those on the inside, so I don't know. But I just wanted to come on here and just talk a little bit more about it. And in the next part of this video, I'm going to talk about what Jeff passed of, bacterial meningitis. Because when I found out that's what he died of, I needed to know more about it. I needed to understand what happened to him because, like I said, it felt very sudden. Okay, so as I said in the first part of this video, I really wanted to know what bacterial meningitis was or is. Meningitis is an infection of the membranes, meninges, that protect the spinal cord and the brain. Well, as soon as I read that, I'm like, wow, this is bad. When the membranes become infected, they swell and press on the spinal cord or brain. This can cause life-threatening problems. Meningitis symptoms strike suddenly and worsen quickly. And that makes sense for what the article on People said was that it progressed very quickly in Jeff Beck. What causes bacterial meningitis? Bacteria or a virus can cause meningitis. Viral meningitis is more common, but bacterial meningitis is more serious, which is Jeff Beck had the bacterial meningitis. It can lead to brain damage, paralysis, or stroke. In some cases, can be fatal. I'll make sure this is not okay. Many different types of bacteria can cause meningitis. See, this is what I'm trying to understand is how this got him. Vaccines are available that target many of these bacteria. For this reason, it's important to know what's causing meningitis. Even though all types affect the same area of the body, they can have different outcomes and need different treatments. So, how does someone catch it? What are the risk factors for bacterial meningitis? Experts don't always know why meningitis happens. Well, that's not helpful. Some people get it when their immune system is weak or they've recently been sick. Now, that makes sense given, you know, the tour schedule that he, you know, had, and as busy as that they were, and then with, you know, the flu, cold season, COVID, all that stuff, he could have gotten a cold. And the virus could have entered him that way. A head injury may also increase risk. Bacterial meningitis is more common to infants under 1 year of age. Now, see, I knew about the danger to the babies because I'm a child care provider. That's why I was a little confused as to how Jeff Beck, you know, got this. So, bacterial, under the age of 1 and people 16 to 21. College students living in dorms or other close quarters are at increased risk. Also at risk are adults with certain medical problems, including those without a spleen. So I don't know anything about Jeff Beck's personal health. Um, so prior to this, so symptoms, it says, is a painful stiff neck with limited range of motion, headaches, high fever, feeling confused or sleepy, bruising easily all over the body, a rash on the skin, sensitivity to light. And then symptoms to look for in children are irritability, vomiting from a high fever, frequent crying, swelling of the head, lack of appetite, and seizures, sometimes also seen in adults if meningitis is advanced. Symptoms typically come on quickly in as little as a couple of hours or up to a day or two. If you think your child may have meningitis, go straight to the emergency room. So how is it diagnosed? To diagnose this condition, a healthcare provider will do a spinal tap, also called a lumbar puncture, to take a sample of fluid from around the spinal cord. The fluid is then tested for bacteria. The healthcare provider will also ask about your symptoms and do a physical exam. They also might do a CT scan, blood and urine testing, swab of fluids from your nose or throat. So how is it treated? Prompt treatment of bacterial meningitis is crucial. It can save your life. Once the type of bacteria has been identified, you'll start taking antibiotics. They're given through a needle in the vein. You may also be given corticosteroid. I know what it is, but for some reason I know I'm not saying that word right. To help reduce inflammation and swelling, treatment also includes plenty of fluids to prevent dehydration. So the complications of bacterial meningitis. With quick treatment, many people with bacterial meningitis don't have any permanent problems. However, even with prompt treatment, some may battle seizures, brain damage, hearing loss, and disability for the rest of their lives. Meningitis can be fatal, and some people with this infection will die. Can it be prevented? Vaccines are available to help prevent bacterial meningitis. Children now routinely get meningitis vaccine around ages 11 to 12, and a booster shot is given at age 16. Ask your healthcare provider if you or your children should be vaccinated. You know, I don't remember getting a vaccine when I was 16, but bacterial meningitis is contagious. Oh my gosh. Really? Now there's something I wasn't expecting to read. It is contagious. If you've been around someone who has it, call your healthcare provider to talk about how to keep from getting sick. Oh my. Now that is definitely... So it is possible, let's just say, could it be possible that he picked it up on the road? If you're feeling like you've got the flu with unusual stiffness in your neck, it could be meningitis. Get checked out. Ask your healthcare provider about vaccines. If you've been around someone who has bacterial meningitis, call your healthcare provider. And then it goes on. I'll leave the link to this, what I'm reading, in the description box below. I just, I needed to know what happened. It's kind of a thing of mine. I needed to know what happened. I didn't understand how he could get bacterial meningitis, But it's sad. It's truly, it's sad. It's just sad, Jeff Beck gave us some amazing music. He was an amazing talent. He was a virtuoso guitarist. I will personally find it very difficult to listen to the album that he and Johnny Depp did. I have the CD in my car, but I don't think I'd be able to listen to it without crying right now. So it may be a little while before I listen to it. But I am personally, as I know the entire Johnny Depp community is just so forever grateful for everything, for helping Johnny get through the horror that he had to deal with. This is a very sad time. I mean, this is a huge, huge loss, not just to the world, the music world, but it's a huge loss to the Johnny Depp community. And he became part of the family, if that makes sense. It was, Jeff and Johnny, like peanut butter and jelly, so there's definitely been a sort of a somber feeling across social media in the Johnny Depp community today as a whole, and it's been very respectful, a respectful feeling too. For the most part, it's, and I would say, to, I would like to say to those in the Johnny Depp community who were sharing some despicable, just uncouth posts by AH's people. They're saying some nasty, nasty things, and it doesn't make any sense. That is proof of who they really are, and so just the most uncouth individuals. There's a special place in hell, I believe, for people who have no respect for someone who's passed on. You know what I mean? And to come out and say some of the things that I've read about, they're actually, some of them are targeting Johnny and just saying the most horrible things. I would ask that those within the Johnny Depp community not share those things. Don't give them the light of day. Don't give them the platform, the attention. Don't share what they're posting. We don't need. Why are y'all seeing it? That's my question. Why are Johnny Depp fans even following AH's people? I don't understand that. To post, to repost something that they're saying, you got to be following them or looking up their post. Why? I don't do that. I don't care what they're not on my radar, unless it comes up on Twitter because of something someone else shared. It's not okay. And it makes you just as bad as them to share that stuff, because you're giving them the attention and the platform that they're looking for, and you're helping to spread their evil messages. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Have more respect for Jeff. Have more respect for Johnny. And more respect for Jeff's family than to Don't do it. Alright, guys. I'm going to end out this video now and just rest in peace, Jeff Beck. And thank you for the music, for taking Johnny Depp on tour with you, for helping him get through dark time in his life, for seeing him to safety. Thank you. God bless, guys. Hey guys, I'm just tacking this on to the end of my video. Real quick, this is, woke up to more sad news. And this one hits me here. I've been an Elvis fan since I was 9 years old. And I loved seeing his daughter, Lisa Marie, who looks just like him. And so does his granddaughter. But Lisa Marie, 54 years old, has passed on. According to AP News, she died yesterday, Thursday, after being hospitalized earlier the same day. Her mother says, "It is with a heavy heart that I must share the devastating news that my beautiful daughter, Lisa Marie, has left us. She was the most passionate, strong, and loving woman I have ever known." The announcement came just hours after Priscilla Presley had confirmed that Lisa Marie was rushed to the hospital earlier Thursday. Los Angeles County paramedics were dispatched to a Calabasas home at 10:37 a.m. following a report of a woman in full cardiac arrest. According to Craig Little, a spokesperson for the county's fire department, property records indicate Presley was a resident at the address. Paramedics arrived about 6 minutes later. A subsequent statement from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department said paramedics performed CPR and determined the patient had signs of life before taking her to a hospital in nearby West Hills immediately. The city of Calabasas is nestled between the foothills of Santa Monica and the Susana Mountains, about 30 miles northwest of downtown Los Angeles. News of Presley's hospitalization was first reported by TMZ and later confirmed by People. Presley, 54, attended the Golden Globes on Tuesday, on hand to celebrate Austin Butler's award for playing her father in Elvis. "I really didn't know what to do with myself after I saw it. I had to take 5 days to process it, because it was so incredible and so spot on and just so authentic. I can't even describe what it meant." Just days before that, she was in Memphis at Graceland, where Elvis lived, to celebrate her father's birth anniversary on January 8th. Sorry, I'm just reading down this. Everyone is shocked over this. Why did this happen? Presley had recently penned an essay published in People about the horrific reality of her grief following her son Benjamin's death by suicide in 2020. Presley is also the mother of actor Riley Keough. I'm sorry. "I've dealt with death, grief, and loss since the age of 9. I've had more than anyone's fair share of it in my lifetime, and somehow I've made it this far." That was from Priscilla. My heart goes out to Lisa Marie's children and Priscilla, for losing her daughter. Having Lisa Marie here meant a lot to the world, you know, because it was like having a piece of Elvis here. And now it feels almost like y'all might not get this. Some of you might not, some of you might, but it almost feels like, in a way, losing Elvis all over again. If that makes any sense. I'm devastated by this. I'm totally heartbroken. She's gone. But I gotta pull myself together because I have daycare kids coming. Oh, God, what a week. What a week.